Hello, everybody. I am Maria Fernanda Colmenares, and this is my presentation for the subject materials design. Today, I'm going to talk about, I'm going to answer the 4 questions given in the activity guide. So the first one, I'm going to start with the first one, that is the conception of materials development. Decades ago, the conception of the materials design decades ago was pretty different, like we are doing it in this moment. The method that was used in the past was the method illustration. What is the method illustration? Are you asking? Is like we see in the picture in this moment, is the traditional method that teachers used to do in the past. Students just write, just answer, just read, just do what the teacher said. In this moment, the method that we are working as a teachers is pretty different, as you can see here in the picture. And the first step is raise awareness of teaching and learning processes. Sorry. And that take the teacher to the faster teacher development, and then take that to allow teacher to act as agents of innovation. In this moment, many strategies and many like methods are going on the new education techniques. The second question was the development materials demand. In the reading, was this picture explaining like the steps that the teacher has to have when developing materials. But I have to choose 6, and I choose these ones, like the ones that I use as a teacher. The first one is able to see students as holistic, unique individuals, because not all the students are the same, not all the students learn the same. So it's pretty difficult to teach a class just for one student. So you have to need all the techniques each student use to develop a complete class. The second one is fun of facilitating students' learning processes, avoiding their frustration. That's pretty normal, or I think that's very important to have it in an English class, because not all the students participate the same, not all the students talk the same, not all the students develop the same ability to an English class. So it's pretty important to avoid frustration in students, like making games, or I don't know, doing activities that allow the students to work on their English class correctly. The third one is willing to devote time to teach with louder. That's pretty important too in an English class, because if you teach like the traditional method, an English class, obviously the students will get bored, and the class will not take you to the right way when teaching an English class. The fourth one is ready to innovate in their teaching practice. I think if you don't innovate in an English class, students will get bored. Students don't want to know anything about English, and students don't get attracted to the English class. That's pretty important. Innovate in an English class is pretty important. The fifth one is willing to take and make teaching decisions. For example, this happens all the time in an English class. You have a whole class prepared with many activities and the best class of the world, but suddenly a student doesn't understand, or maybe the student get bored, or maybe the student doesn't get attracted by the class. So you have to make a quick decision to change all the environment, all the situation, all the class and everything to have this class so attractive. And the last one is keen on praising students' attempts to perform tasks in different ways. You don't have to tie it to one specific or a traditional task. You have to give students different type of tasks because if you don't get the attraction of the students in an English class, the class will get bored. Students don't do homework. So that's pretty important to have it in an English class. Let's move on to the next question, and is the components of creating and adapting didactic learning materials. Well, there were 15 strategies or tips to develop this question. I'm going to explain each one, but it's so fast. I make a summary about each one. Is brain stimulation, the free practice, obviously a feedback. Achieve impact is pretty important in an English class. Is learn, please give the easiest clues to the students in an English class. Self-confidence, like giving students a small homework and a good homework. Perceived self-investment, readiness, attention is pretty important, the attention. Communicative opportunities, a good memory. So don't give students like the traditional speaking practice, memorizing. No, in each class, give students a good memory or try to give them clues to memorize easy the topic. Learning styles, that's pretty important. You have to innovate in learning styles. Effective screen. This is pretty important too in an English class, because if you don't do it, if you don't have a click with the students, that won't work anytime. And a silent period. I don't like this one, but it's pretty important. And the last one is the role of the teacher designing a language learning material. This is the right way. The right way is given in the guide, but I'm going to do it as I consider is the right way to create a language learning material. I think the first one is the content, then selecting and developing materials and activities, then setting goals and objectives, then resources and constraints, then organizing content and activities, and then needs assessment, and then the evaluation. It's pretty important here to have into account the feedback. The feedback is pretty important for students, because if you don't give students a feedback like you are doing this wrong or you're doing this right, and obviously individually, students won't get to the objective. So thank you so much. This is my presentation. I hope you like it. Thank you so much.